Growing up, I thought scientists were all boring lab rats with glasses and bow ties. I pictured these guys doing the same mundane procedures over and over and over. Since then, I have learned that science is interesting and always changing. But it was not until I started reading about the sick animals I spotted in the Indian River Lagoon, and then met the people that work at Orca, did I realize just how much creativity is involved in scientific research. At the Ocean Research and Conservation Association, or Orca, they have some truly creative methods of practicing science. This elite team of scientists and researchers use creative and innovative methods to determine if toxins are present in sediment. Sediment is the mud that sits at the bottom of water bodies. They have also developed a cost-effective way to track the pollution back to its source. Through the COSI Research Experience for Pre-Service Teacher Program, I helped Dr. Edith Witter, Dr. Beth Falls, and Research Associate Brandy Nelson assess the health of the sediment around the mouth of Tiller Creek in the Indian River Lagoon. Okay, I know what you're thinking. What's mud got to do with it? Toxins often settle into the sediment at the bottom of the lagoon. Microscopic organisms eat the toxic sediment, only to be eaten themselves by larger organisms, and so on, until the toxins that settled in the sediment can be found throughout the food web. Since the food web starts in the sediment, testing the sediment is actually the most accurate way to assess the health of a marine ecosystem. The lesions and tumors I saw on the lagoon organisms can be visible indicators that toxins are present, but the toxin itself is not always visible. Like garbage, so we don't know where it is coming from. When we use the methods Orca developed to test sediment and then color code the sites based on toxicity, we could map the pollution. The result is a product that is as easy to understand as a weather map. Pretty creative, huh? Well, now that we know why sediment, let's discuss how we tested the sediment. We completed 2 scientific assessments that used different organisms to determine sediment toxicity. The first organism we used is a bioluminescent bacteria. Through creative experimentation, it was found that the light the bacteria produced is linked to its health. So anything that interferes with the bacteria's health, like a toxin, reduces its light output. In other words, the more toxic the sediment, the less the bacteria glow. This assessment took about an hour per sample and was a fast and cost-effective way to determine if toxins were present. To compare this creative way of testing for toxicity, we also used a more traditional assessment using amphipods. We put these tiny crustaceans in glass jars with our different sediment samples so they could burrow into and ingest sediment, and then waited 10 whole days to see which ones survived. Not only did this method take much longer, but it also is much more expensive than the bioluminescent bacteria assessment. So what materials did we use for these high-tech assessments? Well, scientific research isn't cheap, you know. We used creative materials to complete our assessments cost-effectively. And where did we get these creative, high-tech materials? Why, Walmart, of course. Walmart was our one-stop shop for plastic tubing and glass jars for our amphipods, plastic buckets to sieve our sediment, and garbage bags to cover our clothes. Cost-cutting doesn't stop at garbage bags, though. The team also hand-makes tools like this metal grabber to cut down on costs. In fact, Orca uses creativity at every level to make their research dollars go further. The team at Orca uses creativity in their questioning, processes, and solutions at every opportunity. While I admit there are some processes that are completed multiple times, because precision and reproducibility are important aspects of science, it still took creativity to generate these processes. In fact, the scientific community is filled with innovative people that ask creative questions and then determine the best way to get answers. These folks invent new products to make our lives easier, and drugs that help us live longer. They also discover new and fascinating information that help us to better understand the organisms that share our environment. So next time you think of a scientist as a boring lab rat, think again.